winter yet, so we're definitely getting through contracts quite quickly. If we do, even if we do another 38 next year, by summer the year after we'll have done 100 contracts. That achievement will be done. Tufts of grass here. So it's coming up to 12:56 game time. What I might do, we'll run up and get the case as soon as I get down to the bottom. And we'll ship a bunch of these off to the horse stable, I think, which is the most awkward bale sell point. Especially for everything we got. We've got the standard Anderson bale collector, which is a very long trailer, and then we've got our semi-trailer, which will take 30 bales, but again, it's a semi-trailer, and I'm trying to maneuver it into a horse yard off a lane that is as wide as a tractor. And the entrance to the yard's only one gate wide, I think. So it's just... it's a trial. Let's put it that way. If I collect all the wrapped bales now, that should put us past 1 o'clock. We'll be able to take the JCB down to the BGA and get some of those bales sold. Like, 14 of them maybe? Then we can jump back here, and as I said, I'll probably use the class to do some more wrapping. Maybe I'll put the case on the wrapper and the class on the bale mover. But with the number of grass bales we actually have, I am estimating, I think they're grass bales, they might be clover bales. No, clover bales. Number of clover bales we have, I'm estimating it's going to take us a good 8 to 10 hours to clear those through the digester. We might potentially not even get all of them done by end of day. Okay. Drop that there. Boop. Pull forward so it's not interfering with anything, and I'll turn that off. Now let's go find this guy. Alrighty. Actually, I probably should sit in the cab. That has a bit of a panoramic view too. I'm very much appreciative of smaller tractors that allow for front loaders that have a sunroof. Not that I do much of my front loader work from cab view, but that there just lets you see what you're doing with your forks when they're fully raised. Okay, now we get out, now we unload that. This might actually be the last year I include a big class tractor on the Saturday farm. Probably still use one. Maybe a 400 or a 600, maybe even an 800. Go for a mid-size model. But we've kind of overused the heavy class, the 900 now. So much so we had 2 in 19. Oh, sorry, 2 on all faults. We only included 1 here because we've got the Challenger, and I do like that one. But again, probably not going to include a Challenger. Maybe I'll do something crazy and go with a Zerion. It's my primary big tractor. Probably try and stick with the JCB and just have a heavy front loader rather than a Lindner, which, while it's a good yard tractor, it's not really useful for field work, or at least in my estimation, not really useful. Plus it's light, so it does have issues trying to pick up multiple bales, which the JCB fairly well copes with. Good grief, my grammar's horrible. Okay, where are we at? That's 14 grabs. 2 more. Come on. Oh, we only take 14. Okay. Aye, pay attention, dude. Again, gonna get back in the cab because there are so many trees down here. And I'm pretty sure we have to go to the horse stables. It'd be nice if we didn't, but that's not looking hopeful for Oakfield. Do is try a drive in and see if I can reverse back into the lane so I can come back the way I did. We shall see. Yeah, this is definitely not Oak Glen straw sell point. I haven't had any contracts to Oakfield Farm sale point. Oh, I could have run by them. I think we have to turn very, very soon after the speed limit changes. Right about here. Okay. Obviously, once the leaves have fallen off the trees, I don't have to do quite so much in-cab driving down the lanes here. Because I'll be able to see through the tree limbs. Not that I should be coming up to the horse stable any time over winter. Okay, so I'm thinking my plan here is, this is a horrible yard to get into. that back there should be the bale sell point. So off we go. Okay, how much transported have we got here? 10, 11, 12, 15. So 15% transported in 14 bales. So okay, little bit over 1% per bale. That's kind of okay. Progress 32%. Oh my goodness. Just notice the weight on the front of this tractor is missing a lot of paint. One thing I have noticed, the reversing is a little unrealistic. When I've got the tractor going straight, with the trailer a little bit off line. So okay, if the tractor's straight and the trailer's straight, when you're going to reverse, you can keep the trailer lined up directly behind it. Now if I turn the tractor, so turn it to the right, the trailer will now swing off to the left. If I hold the tractor straight, that will still carry on swinging out now, but if I turn to the left, the trailer stops swinging and just goes straight backwards. And technically it shouldn't. It should still carry on swinging out until I've got the tractor's axis lined up with the trailer. So we're always going to reverse into the hedge when coming out of there, because I have to maneuver the tractor to get through the gate. I can't keep it going straight or keep it turned to the right so that the trailer swings more to the left. But anyway, that's one load done. So if we've got to do 14 bales is 15%, we're going to have to do 7 loads down to the horse yard. So what's that, 57? So probably about 91 bales need to be moved. Which means I probably have about 50 wrapped now. Very, very bad. There's a turning on the right. Somebody could come out of there. Okay, here we are. Somewhere. There's my little lane. A private road. Okay. Through the gate. Whoa. And we can step outside again. That one. And that's about 10-15 minute run. I don't know. Well, 15 minutes to load and transport, I think. So I want to take as many bales as I can up to the horse stables now. This tractor could do with a bale bump. Do I have one available? Squirrel. Yeah, something like that. I could use something like that, and that would help push the bales aside. The problem is, I'm not sure how much weight I've actually got on the front of here, and I do use this tractor for ploughing, and you kind of need the weight for that. Yes. Sorry, I'm not paying as much attention to chat as I should. Yes, I mean, I know, Oxygen David announced Calmsden Farm quite a few months ago and said, it's going to be his best map yet. And assumptions then was it was going to be for 19, and I think possibly it was, but it's taken so long to develop it. Now we got firm news that 22 is going to be coming out. He decided not to release it for 19. He's got a demo for 19, which is allowing his testers to iron out find the problems for me. And but his plan now is it's a Farm Sim 22 map, which is one of the reasons why I mentioned it. But I think there's other things that modders are now being encouraged to work with. I don't know that there is a significant supply of modders' tools, but there are things modders are starting to work on. The Maize Plus stuff from the farming agency, the last post they made on Facebook, the announcement was in German, so I'm not entirely sure what it was about, but the image they used was the Farm Sim 22 promotion shot or one of the Farm Sim 22 promotional shots from Giants. So I'm kind of guessing they're already working on Maize Plus for Farm Sim 22. I'm also guessing it's probably going to be easier for them because, as Giants suggested in one of their earlier dev blogs, it's going to be a lot easier to add new crops to Farm Sim 22. I don't know the details behind that, but you look at the Maize Plus crops, we've got triticale, we've got spelt. They are variations on wheat. And you can say that barley is a variation on wheat. It's slightly higher yield, slightly lower value. Oats is a variation on wheat. It's a markedly higher value, lower yield. So there's that whole, we will possibly see a lot of new crops, not just the Maize Plus ones. It may be possible to more easily include things like carrots and onions and peas and beans and hops and all sorts of things, so long as they have a root in an existing crop. So we're getting grapes. If you can think of another crop that grows like grapes, then potentially a modder could very, very easily add that. You mod the the grape harvester to be able to harvest your new crop, and it all works the same. Get out, turn around. Ooh, that's a little close. Probably select reverse would be a plan. And as I already said, we're going to have production. So production is going to be something that is easy to include. If you want to produce a cabinet maker, well, bring me logs and we'll convert the logs to lumber and make cabinets out of them. Or a pallet maker or things like that. And it's going to be easier to do because the root programming logic is included in the base game. You don't have to wait for somebody else to do it for you. You don't have to do everything with Maze Plus. Okay, I've managed to get the tractor right straight here. And I have to get through the gate before I can turn it. So I managed to get a slightly better angle on that. And the same with seasons. I don't know if... And I did get involved in a very small discussion on seasons. Obviously one of the reasons why Giants have gone with a 1 day season, 1 day per month season. So that's effectively a 3-day season. You don't have to do math for anything. Animals eat X amount of food in 1 day. And part of the complexity for Realismus's seasons is, and they've had to multiply the amount of food an animal eats in 1 day by 12, and then divide it by the number of days in your selected seasonal year. So if you're doing 8-day seasons, that's is that right? 8-day seasons. Times 4. It's about 196 days in a year. So you would have to divide that figure by 96 to get the daily food requirement for your animals if you're playing an 8-day season. We're playing a 9-day season, so we feed our sheep a third of what we would if we were running a 3-day season. And the idea is it costs, the animals require this amount of food for a calendar year, but you're playing more game days per calendar year. The amount of wool that's produced by my sheep is less than it would be on a 3-day season, because sheep produce X amount of wool per sheep in the course of a calendar year. Well, obviously for sheep, during the course of spring. So that's 3 days in a 3-day season, but in a 6-day season it's 6 days. But you can't, you're not going to produce twice as much wool because you happen to be playing a 6-day season rather than the 3-day season. That breaks the economy. The horse helper mod, the original horse helper mods had problems because they were rated for a 1 day. This is the cost of a helper to ride one horse for 1 day. And the problem was because the income is factored by the number of days in the season. If you played a 3-day season, you'd make an absolute fortune playing horses with a horse helper mod. And if you played an 8-day season, you would never make any money with horses using the horse helper mod. But later horse helper mods, or what was it? At least I think at least one of them modified to be compatible with seasons. So the amount of the cost for riding a horse was less if you played with a longer duration season. But Giants don't have to worry about that with the way they're installing seasons. Is, you know, 1 day equals 1 calendar month. But they are allowing you to play. They're providing more multiples, speed multiples. So, you know, 19 we have 1, 5, 15, 30, 60, 120. So 1 second equals 2 hours at the fastest. With Farm Sim 22, they're giving us a times 1/3, times half, and then times 1, I think times 2, 3, and 4. And then after 5, it gets progressively greater. Because obviously, yeah, most of the time, people will play on a times 1 or a times 5. Very, very occasionally they might try and play on a times 15. I think times 15 is difficult because you're looking at assume a 10-hour working day. That's going to be done in 40 minutes. At times 5, 2 hours of playing time equals the daylight hours for a day. So that's kind of reasonable rate to play the game at if you want to play a quick game. It would be nice to have a times 10 because that would be 1 hour to the effective daylight hours of a game day. But the only reason you're doing times 15, times 30, times 60 is because I've got all the jobs done today, I've got no contracts to do, I'm sitting around, I want it to be night time, or I want the rain to stop, or I need to wait 4 hours for my crops to be harvestable, so I just want to skip time until the crops are ready to harvest and then slow back down to times 1 or times 5 and harvest them. And that's why people use the fast, you know, the really fast. So there's no point in having a times 15, times 20, times 30, times 35, times 40. Nobody's really going to use those. The only reason they're using the really fast ones is to seriously skip the time because they're waiting for an event to occur that they're going to take advantage of. But the slower speeds, you know, times 2, times 3, times 4, I can see that being something people will leverage. And I'd probably be more likely to work with a times 1 or a times 2. The only final thing that concerns me about seasons really is we have a weather forecast in the current version, and I don't see that being a thing, or it's not something that Giants have demoed. And weather forecast is useful to know. Just because, okay, let's say I had some crops in the ground. Let's take a look at the weather forecast. It's wet now, so I can't harvest. But that's because it's fall, it's early morning, it's